this is basically quite simple. And the simplicity is that this is all there is. That's the simplicity. It's effortless. What seems to be happening is absolutely effortlessly happening. That's the simplicity of it. Wholeness is already the case, if you want so. And it's what seems to be happening, being whole and complete. That's all there is. And there's nothing that can be added to this, nor is there anything that can be taken away from us. It's whole and complete. Within what happens, there seems to be one illusion. There's this one and only illusion. And this is the impression that there is a separate self. And the separate self, this illusion, is also the seeker. It's an energy, it's a dynamic. It's an energetic dynamic, if you want to. It's a story. So that's how one could describe the seeking energy. And usually this energy calls itself me. It's a kind of a self-experience, which is again energetic. But it calls itself me, it gives itself names, actually already in order to process itself. Because it can't just be. Part of that energy is the impression that I can't just be. I need to do something with myself. I need to make myself fulfilled. I need to make myself having arrived. This energy is kind of a living question mark, or an energetic question mark, as if there is a problem to be solved. That's where all the seeking comes from, or this impression that I need to do something. I need to make this whole and complete. I need to do something to make this whole and complete for myself. And that's an illusion. And as I said, it's basically the only illusion. Nothing else is an illusion. Everything else just is what seems to be happening. Everything else is the natural reality. And in a very funny way, of course, this illusion too is the natural reality, but exactly as what it is, an illusion. Something that doesn't have any substance at all. Something that doesn't, in that sense, that doesn't exist even. That's why there is never an answer. The seeker may ask a lot of questions. Well, in the end, it's one question. How can I become fulfilled? But it's this one question which will always remain without an answer. And there is no answer to it because it is an illusion. It's not that there is no answer to it, but it's real. There is no answer to it because it's an illusion. And all the questions that come out of it are illusory as well. It's an illusion just circling around within its own world. I am, something is missing, I need to do something, I get some results, certain experiences that may feel good. But all of that is artificial. All of that is the dream. And liberation would be nothing else than the collapse of that energy. It's the collapse of that dream as a whole. And after liberation, so to speak, there's nothing left. There's no certain experience left. That's what's meant when I say that there's nothing left. There is no certain way to experience life left. Then there's just what seems to be happening, which in the end has always been the case before as well, but it wasn't seen by the seeker. So there's just what seems to be happening. That's all there is, ever. And it's this. This is how wholeness looks like. And what it thinks and what it feels, it's all there is. The person is afraid of dying in the end. So the person says, if I would lose all my money, I wouldn't be able to feel happy and fulfilled anymore. Or worse, I wouldn't be able to be present anymore. So it's actually the fear of death that's connected to these no-goes. Because when the person collapses, this fear collapses. That something is unbearable for me. I mean, there are a lot of people who are seeking for more adventure, more thrill, but of course not as much that they will die in it. So they usually want to keep this thrill still in an acceptable range. Oh yeah, most people are bored with their existence and they want more. The whole pleasure-seeking, adventure stuff, nothing, and completely boundless is the ultimate thrill. But then the person is afraid of dying into it, because in a way that's, on the one hand, the biggest no-go, but it's also the biggest adventure, to just be what happens. That's so far out. That wholeness, totality is just this. It's too wild. Those aren't really two things that can't be separated. They come together. The knowledge about one's own presence, the self-experience, and the doing that comes out of it. So the me and the seeking are the same thing. So the me and the seeking are the same thing. The one can't be without the other. Yeah, the person can't see itself. It is kind of only aware of the symptoms. And one could say seeking is already kind of a symptom of this illusion. But yeah, it can't really see itself because it's only looking from itself and it sees the seeking. That's why the me lives in this illusion that it can get rid of the seeking, because it thinks it's already something separate from itself. Also the seeking as something that's separate from itself, but it can see that itself is the cause for the seeking. In all seeking is about, how can I get rid of seeking? How can I be without the seeking? The seeking is separate from the me, yeah, which it isn't. No, yeah, there would just be what happens. There's a certain behavior which would be apparent. Yeah, I love it when, well, I don't really love it, but sometimes it's quite funny, at least, when people try to use this message to justify their own behavior, but criticizing others for theirs. My behavior is all whole and complete. I'm not wrong, so don't criticize me. Everything just is exactly what it is. And everyone is just doing exactly what they are doing. And that's the absolutely illogical and unexplainable thing, how there can be symptoms of something which doesn't have any reality in the first place. I can't explain it. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all, because it feels so real. For the person, it is an experienced reality, suffering from being someone. And yet there never really is someone. Who could ever comprehend that? Yes, I wanted to say it almost, but there is no cure for the me. Turns out to be the cure. Well, it's part of it, yeah. Yeah, the whole idea of curing is coming from that illusion, as if anything is in the way between me and my fulfillment, between me and wholeness, that something needs to go away. Yeah. And in a very funny way, I mean, this can be misunderstood as well, of course it will, but in a very funny way, what the person fears most, that itself and its suffering is illusory, or that itself and its suffering is also whole and complete. That's what it fears most. That's what it's constantly trying to escape from, is what seems to be happening. And it's not as bad as it seems. That this is it too. Again, it's not logical. One can't learn that or know that or use that. It's a surprise. It's a surprising turning out that, again, that what the person was constantly trying to run away from, itself and all the symptoms of seeking, is just what seems to be happening. This is where this message becomes so direct and so unspiritual, where no solution is needed anymore at all. Because it's all just what seems to be happening. And nothing makes a real difference in terms of fulfillment. And in that sense, apparently, I can just share. Can't be taught or learned or known or used. The surprise. The most unexpected. As I said, the one thing where the person would say, well, this certainly can't be it. It's just what seems to be happening. Which also isn't a pointing to some mysterious spiritual escape reality or something. No. This has absolutely nothing to do with any kind of concept about reality. And again, I think I said it now a few times, it's the most unbelievable thing that what happens is all there is. And that's the natural reality. And that's what's actually longed for in that sense. When you turn out to be an illusion, but then you will also stop. It won't stop for you. It will stop when there's no you anymore. And I think the important thing, but the interesting thing is that both belong to the dream of being someone. The efforting and the relief from the break from efforting. Because it would still be you noticing it, you enjoying the relief, you understanding that the effort was a problem and that you shouldn't make this effort anymore. So very quickly you invent, I guess, another story about good and bad and right and wrong. But that's why the effort comes out of it again, because the experience of relief also has nothing to do with liberation. So you just cycle between doing, relaxing. But both is the me in that sense. All right. So all there is what seems to be happening. No one's doing anything. There is no one who's imprisoned into what seems to be happening, and there is no one who can and will be freed from what seems to be happening. There is no one. There's just what seems to be happening. It's this. Thanks a lot for joining. I wish you a lovely day and night and evening. Lovely to see you. Thank you very much.